It's January 21st, 2022. CBS This Morning was on the television. I saw something that really didn't sit well with me about the local mayor, who I did not vote for. I did not want to be caught up in that election this time around because I don't know what they campaigned for. Like, this is starting to get to be very confusing, the words that they use. And the news this morning said that the guy that they put into the office, after they took out a statue of Thomas Jefferson, might I add, for whom I have a special symbolic relationship with, at larger than life things, at planetary things of importance, for cosmological constant. They said that today's his first paycheck, and he's, as he promised in his campaign, which I didn't see him campaign. I don't know how he campaigned, with whom he campaigned. I don't know who financed his campaign. But he is not accepting the local United States of North America currency. He's actually pushing for something called a cryptocurrency, which again, I haven't been brought into the conversation to know how to steady my own point of view. I've been left out and been in complete isolation from all of these goings on, and I'm sitting here in absolute horror as I've been waiting. In my youth, it was for a very important spiritually guided marriage, special bloodline, that kind of thing. But then it descended into a whole lot of chaos, confusion, and tragic attempts of murder, and so on and so forth, which goes unaddressed in this situation because there's no guard per se that protects just my person. Where I am, it looks like this. What I will say is, more recently, I survived the poison attempts, the attempts to take me to parties and locations that were dangerous, and for one reason or another, I survived. And then, more recently, I lost my house and my children. Some shitbag in their crumbling system misread paperwork and took my children and gave it to the rapist and the first man who attempted to murder me, who's now a uniformed officer in the local police. And then they put me in a home with the shitbag parental units that I was born to, that brought me into this situation in this world. They call parents. I call them Linda and Lou. And somehow Lou got some outside call because he's got some whatever. And then they sent me to the hospital with unwarranted. They just came with uniformed shitbag officers in NYPD local. They're the shitbag ones, not all NYPD is shitbags, but these particular whatevers are, for what they did. They came in, they just took me out of the house. They said, either you walk out freely or we handcuff you and take you in. Didn't show me paperwork, didn't show me a warrant, didn't show me anything. Took me by ambulance to the local hospital. I wasn't rowdy. I wasn't anything. When I get to the hospital, I ask for a lawyer. I ask, like the humans use those words in movies. I ask for, they deny me. I said to the entire administrative staff in the hospital that was in the intake room that had me barricaded into a particular place, I said to them, now I'm not a criminal. Never been brought up on charges, never been served, never anything. And I don't know how the rest of the human world works. These are words they use. When I had to serve the rapist and attempted murder, whatever, papers just to get my children away in something called a divorce, because that's what the local lawyer recommended. And so they put me into this hospital room, barricaded me into a room, did ask me a whole bunch of questions. I said, after they denied me the lawyer by trying to ignore me, I said to them that they're participating in guerrilla warfare, advanced witchcraft, and war crimes against my person by denying me all of the things that I was requesting. They then took me into like what looked like a surgical room. They barricaded me in there with only dark-skinned people around what Gayle King looks like, her color. They barricaded me in. They had a metal detector. They then came up and shot me with a needle. Now, I was not anything, like, I mean, whatever. This was just intake. And they shot me with a needle and knocked me out cold. So now the what looks like hospital staff in her only her color has me out cold, and I wake up and I'm totally naked in front of the same administrative staff at the hospital that I had already verbally warned were going to be held on war crimes themselves after the way that they treated me. So I now see on the teleportation device. Now, where do you go for that level and that severity? I've already had a lawyer. They've already attempted to murder me. I've already been held out of position cosmologically and astrologically. And the lawyer gives me divorce paperwork instead of what I needed. And now the situation's gotten more dangerous. What law firm do you go to? Because here on the teleportation device, they tell a really sad story about this color guy, but a woman, where she's actually a criminal. She's got, she's on some kind of probation or whatever when monitoring. And she'd just come home. She was totally naked. And the federal officers got their paperwork wrong, walk in on her, and now she's suing the city of Chicago. Really? Is that what humans do? What level lawyer do you go to in order to sue a city so then maybe you can have monetary freedom from the shitbag humans and you can possibly research traveling to somewhere that actually is protective of your human at cosmological constant and special bloodline? Just curious. Here's how they portray the story and what they allow of things that don't look like me and aren't related to me in this disgusting New York and connected states.
Speaking out for the very first time since the city approved a $2.9 million settlement with her recently.
$2.9 million settlement.
The raid is extremely upsetting. This body cam footage from 2019 shows police officers breaking down Anjanette Young's door while she was in the middle of changing her clothes. The officers left this innocent woman naked and handcuffed for a very long period of time. She repeatedly asked to get dressed and told them they were at the wrong address. We spoke with Young about the experience yesterday, but first, let's take a look back at what happened that night. This body cam footage from February 2019 shows a dozen male Chicago police officers storming into Anjanette Young's home on a Thursday night. She was in the middle of changing her clothes.
Now, they storm in, but they didn't hit her with a needle and knock her unconscious. So she actually was able to report her own crime and to the city and receive compensation and settlement. In my crime, they hit me with a needle of I don't know what was in it and knocked me out unconscious. So now where do I go to report a crime that happened? I wake up naked, but I don't know any of the details in between. What law enforcement agency takes care of that? I'm just curious.
After returning from a work event, Young says the officers left her naked and handcuffed for 40 minutes. They later learned that
Hear how she's speaking and crying? According to the local hospitals, they can hit her with a needle on some justification paperwork that's totally illegal that the nursing and first responders use to protect themselves. I didn't make such sounds. I'm my normal, quiet, hateful, and distrustful of humans, seething quiet on the inside. Totally silent. So that this way they don't hit me with needles and medication that I don't need for certain, just to build themselves an alibi so I'm not a witness to the crimes that they're committing around me and to my person. Why does she get 2.9 million and I get completely unaddressed, even though I went and I walked to NYPD after the crime happened to inform Officer Stein, Stine, on NYPD surveillance camera, made a YouTube video about it, and still, even though I reported it to the local officer, I have no money, no settlement money. Not from the city of New York, not from NYPD, not from the hospital. Why is it this goes on? I'm just curious. It goes on for some, but not for like the real victims.
An electronic monitoring bracelet. City officials went to court to try to block this video from airing after Young and her attorney shared it with our Chicago station, WBBM. You got the wrong house!
This incident happened before I was mayor, but it's coming to light as I am mayor, and I have a responsibility.
Now this is interesting. She's mayor of Chicago. And then there's this flag in the background, which I don't know what that represents. Why is it there's neighboring states with flags? Why is it, I'm in a state. Why is it I don't know the symbolic significance of all of the flags contained within my own state of New York? Why is that not an imperative? Just curious. As far as neglect and ignorance has been of the managing offices and of the people. Since I'm in a alien monster human conversation of some sort as a guardian angel and messiah for my children and myself at the moment, since I'd like to be able to cover others, except I have not found any deemed worthy. So now I'm just curious. This is a neighboring state. I don't even know the symbols in my own state, and now I see symbols appearing in opposite states. And who do you ask for these things? If it's important, if I need to know, if that puts me in danger, the symbols that they're changing with the management system that they're using, because she says she just got into office, which is interesting. I don't know who was before.
ability to address this issue.
Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot initially denied knowing what happened to Young, but later admitted she had been briefed on the incident in November 2019. A third-party investigation ordered by Lightfoot found failures in oversight and accountability by multiple city agencies, but determined that the mayor and the city did not purposefully conceal information about the botched raid. Now, a newly released summary of a scathing report by Chicago's Inspector General finds the city did work to prevent Young from obtaining body cam video, and that it prioritized communications and public relations concerns over the higher mission of city government. Mayor Lightfoot says she does not agree with that conclusion.
Again, this gets into politics I have no idea about, and I'm not even, I'm not here to promote their agendas and their campaigns and whatnot. I mean, real people are getting hurt. Some get compensated. I wouldn't even know how to begin to pursue action, judgment, or motion against humanity for all of this serious, and I don't even know what words to use or what area to go to ask for help and to explain my story. That's how disgusting they've built the platform that I arrived to. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It is Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it is Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.